Good morning, or maybe afternoon or evening. My name is Michael Smith, and this is my life. So, uh, so yesterday, I went to church and did a whole bunch of stuff, and it was really cool because the first part of my day, I got to have such a unique experience. I got to realize what it was like, or at least in my point of view, I got to realize what it is like to be Lady Gaga's bodyguard. Um, Me and my wife have a new baby, and usually when we go to mass, when we go to church, I sit down and we kind of arrange ourselves in the pew. My wife's at one end and I'm at the other end, to some degree, and we split up the kids depending on their attitude of the day or whatnot. And usually, what happens is I'll sit at one end of the pew, excuse me, and I'll be with one of the kids, and usually I take the youngest son. I take my soon-to-be 2-year-old. He's entering terrible twos, and a lot of times, like in mass, I do that so that my wife, she has him all day. And he's kind of high maintenance because he's going into terrible twos, and that way, she can focus on the message and have a break, And I take my my young son. His name is Zachary, and sometimes he hasn't learned the art of sitting still in church, and we don't have a quiet room or anything like that because we go to a very small church, and so like a lot of times it's like doing tai chi with a monkey in the pew because he's constantly trying to like wiggle out of my arms. It's like so but yesterday I was holding. I figured I would hold the baby, and I figured my wife for the last few days has had to be full on with Joseph, baby Joseph, and so I figured, well, I'll hang on to baby Joseph as long as possible until he needs mom, and give her a break. And so I went and I took my spot at the end of the pew, and I'm used to sitting there with one child in complete solidarity. Well, I underestimated the love that my other children have for baby Joseph, and they all rushed to my end of the pew, and I was constantly having to nope, 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 get back, because they were all wanting to sit right next to me. There was fights over who was going to sit right next to me, and there was fights who was going to sit in my lap, while I held the baby, who was going to sit on my other knee, and then the pecking order. Okay, well, I'm not going to sit next to Dad, so I want to have the next spot, And I look down, and my wife is, completely, serene and getting to completely enjoy the service for the most part. I think one of our other children got to walk down there, but it was humbling to a degree because I go to church and I want to sit and I want to focus on the message and learn so that I can go forward next week and love the way God wants me to love. And it was challenging. I still picked up the message, and I was thankful for that. But it was challenging. It was humbling because I didn't get to experience church the way I wanted to. And it kind of made sense, too, because that morning I had gotten up early, and I prayed for humility, to be humble and to be a good man. And, when you pray for humility, that's what God's going to do. He's going to give you humility, but he's going to do it by putting things in your path that are going to not meet your expectations so that you are humbled. Yesterday I had also signed up. There's going to be a retreat. It's called Crescio. And if you don't know what Crescio is, I highly recommend looking it up. If you're, I think, above the age of 20, you can go to a Crescio. It's an amazing weekend where you can get away, leave everything behind, and just focus and ponder the idea of God and Jesus Christ, and if you want to let him into your life, and what role you want him to play, and it's just a really amazing weekend. So there's a Crescio weekend in my area coming up, so I signed up to help set up, because there's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of work behind the scenes. And so I went to go help, and first I got there, and I was, I never get lost. Okay, it's extremely rare that I ever get lost. Even if I don't have directions and I really don't know where I'm going, I always find my way, and rather quickly. And I got so lost. Half of it was because I was zombified, because I haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately because of the new baby. But it was just completely humbling, and I felt that tug of like, oh, why don't you just go home? You've had a really tough, long week. Why don't you just go home? Satan was trying to work in there. He was trying to get me. Every time I've worked on one of these weekends, or even when I went through myself, there's always things where, like, oh, just forget it. Do it next time. It's not important. You get these pulls to want to give up. But, just go home and take care of yourself and sit and watch TV and do whatever, But I persevered, and I got to the church, and I was like, I called my friend. I finally got to the church. It was so silly, because literally, when I pulled into town, I drove right past the church, but I didn't even realize it. And so I was driving all over town trying to find the church where we were going for the setup. Then when I finally got to the church and laughed at myself hilariously, laughing at yourself is really important, I find. I called my friend, and he's like, oh yeah, they meet at the depot to get all the stuff on the other side of town. Well, where is that? And he gave me some directions, and I was like, if you give me an address, I can put it into my phone. But he told me where, and I was like, yeah, I kind of know that part of town a little bit, and I drove over there. Couldn't find anybody. And come to find out, by the time I gotten over to that end of town, they had already left and were gone. And that's why I couldn't find them. So then I ended up driving all the way back across town. I knew where I was going that time. Got to the church, and I got there, though, and I walked up, and everybody was just like, some of these people I've only met like once. And I'm like, hey! And even, I think there were some people I'd never met before, and they were like, hey, yeah, come on in. And we all pitched in, and what should have taken, probably 4 hours or so to do, we knocked out in like an hour to 2 hours, just because there were so many of us. We were coming together as part of God's church to make this weekend happen, so more people can discern whether or not they want to allow Jesus Christ in their life. And it's such a beautiful thing to share his love. We persevered. I had fun serving with others. I find anymore that when I let go of my will and love like God wants me to, I have a blast. I have an amazing time when I get over my ego. Earlier in the day, though, I had also prayed in my prayer time. I realized that maybe I was serving myself a little bit too much. And so in my prayer time, I said, you know what, God, whatever you want me to do, everything I am, I lay at your feet, whatever you want me to do, just lay it in my path. And I will gladly pick it up and do whatever I can with it. And I'll do my best. And so I was at the setup at the church for this Crescio weekend, and this gentleman walks up to me, and he's like, hey, yeah, he's like, I wanted to talk to you, because I stand there with a friend of mine, and he was like, yeah, I want to talk to you, guys. We're having a prison Crescio come up, and we're having it in a men's prison. And as soon as he started talking about it, all these nightmarish ideas of, all the horror stories that you hear about what happens in prison, flash in my head, and like, oh, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this, you don't need to do this, do these kind of Crescios, help out with these, and then boom, flashed in my mind in the prayer that I had said earlier that morning. God, put whatever you want in my path, and I will gladly take it up and do the best I can with it. And I just looked up, to the sky and I smiled. And I'm like, you want me to do this? You want me to help out with this in some way? And me and my friend, we were like hesitant or whatever, you know. And this gentleman, he walked away, and I told my friend about my prayer, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you," he's like, "You totally got to do it." And you know, we finished up, you know, whatever, and we actually got done with the work really, really quick. I think we spent more time standing around talking and socializing than we did actually working, because we got the work done so fast. But I was driving home and I was contemplating, you know, helping him with a prison retreat, and I was like, I'll talk it to my wife. My wife will be, you know, she's like I explained to her one time. My wife is my connection with God. And so I got home and I was like, she's not gonna want me to do this, because we got a new baby and everything, and she's gonna want me to be safe so that I can continue to provide and take care of her and the kids. And I came home and I didn't tell her about my prayer, and I told her about the idea, and she's like, okay, well, when is it? You know, like wanting me to do it, and then I was like, I just smiled and started chuckling, and she's like, what? And I told her, you know, what I was expecting her to say and about my prayer and everything, and she's like, oh, well, I think it's a really good idea. So I'm gonna get a hold of the gentleman today and ask him, you know, investigate a little bit deeper and be like, okay, what exactly do you need of me? How can I serve you? How can I help with your mission to bring the word of God to these men? You know, because the other thing that popped in my head is you know, in the Gospels, there's those lines where it goes, you know, Jesus said to his disciples, you know, when I was naked, you clothed me. When I was hungry, you fed me. You know, when I was in prison, you visited me. And his disciples said, we don't remember doing that. When did we do that? And Jesus said, whenever you did those things for the least of mine, you did it to me. And convexly, you know, I was hungry, you didn't feed me. I was naked, you didn't clothe me. I was in prison, you didn't visit me. When did we do that? When did we not help you? When you did not do for the least of mine, you did that to me. I'm paraphrasing a little bit there, but yeah. So that was my day. This is my life. And that's all I gotta say about that.